Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome viewers in our daily live podcast. Now we can say pretty much it is a daily thing because we are covering since last Friday. So what we're really looking at is in terms of gold, what is happening with gold, why is it going down, what investors are worried about, and what could potentially happen, and what is driving the prices. These are the very same factors that we are also looking at in terms of silver and, of course, in terms of Bitcoin price. Now, earlier today, uh, the team and I, we did do the video discussing specifically about MicroStrategy. For those of you who don't know what MicroStrategy is, it is the main company which has the most amount of Bitcoin, and it holds the largest amount of Bitcoin among other companies. It came up with its earnings, and of course, the last night the CEO said something which is impacting the price of Bitcoin massively today, and it is going to have even more bigger influence in terms of the price action going forward as well. So I would recommend you to go on Na'im Aslam channel, which is the English channel, and then go and watch that video, because in that one we talked about basically what is this. Should you be worried about all the dumping and all everything, the sell-off that is happening in relation to Bitcoin? And because a lot of traders just kind of gather this particular mentality that if BlackRock is dumping Bitcoin, and Bitcoin prices are going down, what would happen to MicroStrategy, which has the most amount of Bitcoin? Is it going to sell, and how that company's health is in relation to the current price action? So we've discussed all of this particular really important information in our video, which will be posted on our YouTube channel, so I would recommend you. Now let's go back to our previous live chats, and then I want to pick up the momentum from where we left off last time. And it is very important for you guys, again, as always, to ask me questions, because this is your opportunity to ask me. Why? Because the whole reason behind this channel, it was to bridge the knowledge gap between a highly experienced person with a person who has the most amount of knowledge, and a person who doesn't have that much of a knowledge, who just started fairly more recently. That is the whole purpose behind it. So this is really an opportunity, because for those of you who don't know me, I come with a wealth of 20 years of experience. I've worked as a hedge fund trader with Bank of New York Mellon, with Bank of America, and I'm also a TV guest on CNBC, Bloomberg. You will see some of those particular videos on our YouTube channels as well. And I write for Wall Street Journal, Nasdaq, and Forbes, and so on and so forth. So there is this element of experience, and then there is this element of an opportunity for you guys to ask me questions while I am here, especially if you are interested. Because who is not interested in gold? Who is not interested in silver? So let's talk about that. So in our live feed yesterday, we talked about that, silver was looking stronger in comparison to gold price. This is at the time when we did it. So we were saying that, okay, this doesn't seem like really good thing, because gold prices should look more stronger first, and then we should see silver prices coming back up. And but it was sort of a signal that, that the bounce back that we were seeing in silver wasn't really going to last. But then there was also an argument that, silver is a lot more cheaper as well, so people are anticipating that move. So what happened since our last conversation to today? That is what we are going to uncover. And we're going to make you understand how the news has changed in the last 24 hours, how the sentiment has changed in the last 24 hours, and now going into the weekend, what could potentially happen, because that is the most important thing that you want to pay attention to. Okay, so if any one of you who has a position in silver, or who has a position in terms of gold, please tell us, comment, and the team will pick up and then ask me a question. We will reply back to you. Okay, so now clearly silver broke below the lows that we formed this week. So the lows which were formed yesterday, they were lower than the lows that were formed on Monday. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at last Friday, the silver massive crash happened. Monday, the price formed a lower low. Then we see a little bit of a bounce back up, prices going up. Thursday, we saw the prices breaking below the Monday's low, which was not very positive. And as of today, we see another negative news in silver, which is another low has formed in comparison to Monday, in comparison to Thursday. So this lower low trend is very much intact. And that goes back to our theory. Our theory that, look, this particular price action is more likely to continue to move to the downside and perhaps reach the zone of $45 to $55, which we would consider a really, really nice place in terms of shaking the weak hands out of it, and perhaps an opportunity where we will see smart money coming in, because everyone would be very much stressed and distressed. So that is what the analysis is in relation to silver prices. Okay, so of course things will change, and if they do change, we will come back, but the momentum is only going to be confirmed if the price moves back above the 100-day simple moving average on the daily time frame. Currently for silver, we are clearly trading to the downside, and we are still very much focused. Earlier today, like last night London time, around 12 o'clock, price formed a low of $64. So remember, last Friday we were trading at $84, okay? And then it was at that time when we said we are only going to buy a small amount, because we still believe the prices are going to go up, but we are only going to buy that small amount, which is going to do us two things. Number one, we will not have the psychological stress that silver prices dropped so much and we didn't buy, because prices could have bounced from $84. So we built that very small position. But number two, which is more important, that we wanted to keep plenty of dry powder. What do we mean by that one? What we mean by that one is that we wanted to keep enough money in the wallet to buy at a good price when silver drops. And that good price for me, it is around $45 to $55. I don't think that the prices are going to break below the $50 mark, or especially the $40 mark, because at that particular price level, we are already down more than 40% from its all-time high. So by that particular price level, we'll be down more than 50% in terms of its all-time high. So it represents an opportunity from that particular perspective. Now, let's shift gear and move on towards gold, because this is what everyone is looking at. What is happening with gold? So obviously last Friday we saw this massive crash. We saw the prices moving to the downside, and then after that one, it was very much on Monday that we saw the prices moving even further lower, right? So we saw the prices moving on towards the low of 4,402. Now, ironically, which is a very, very good thing in terms of gold price in comparison to silver, where there's a lot of weakness showing, is that we have not seen the prices forming a lower low. So the low which was formed on Monday, that is the low that we have seen. So which means that the overall strength in terms of the gold price now has changed. It means that it is showing that it is gaining momentum. But that is not to say that we are heading back to the upside. We still have plenty of things to discuss. But one positive thing in respect to gold price is that it is trading above its 100-day simple moving average on the daily time frame, which by many metrics, by many people, is considered as a positive sign, okay, which shows that the bulls are very much in the control zone, and then they would drive prices higher. Now, what is happening in the equity market is that we have seen a lot of sell-off this week in the US equity market, and the relationship with the gold price is when the equity price goes up, gold price comes down. When the equity market price begins to fall, gold price begins to go up. So this week we have seen this one. We've seen S&P 500, we've seen the Nasdaq going down, and then this is why we're seeing some of that momentum coming back. But more importantly, this particular week has been one of the weeks that we have not seen any tremendous tweets coming from President Trump. So overall, this particular week has been a very, very quiet week from President Trump's in terms of geopolitical tensions. And remember, geopolitical tensions are the major reasons that we have seen this much rally in gold prices and in silver prices. So if for any reason, if we begin to see that these geopolitical tensions begin to subside, for example, it doesn't look like a war is going to happen with the United States, with Iran, because mediators are very much in the play, then we could potentially see gold prices losing more steam. But it is my view that that is going to happen. It is only a matter of a time. But I also hold the view that Saudi Arabia is holding a very, very strong position here, along with Qatar. They both do not want any further unrest in the Middle East, okay? So this is very, very important from that particular perspective to keep an eye on, to keep that in mind, especially when it comes to gold prices. So for now, we formed a high, which was not formed yesterday, which was formed on Wednesday in terms of a gold price, and that was the day that silver looked more stronger than in comparison to gold price, but now the story has changed. But we have failed to go above that particular high of Wednesday. So now we are very much consolidating in terms of the price action moving in the sideways. So not much reaction, not much happening there. There's not really good, exciting news in relation to gold. But where would we buy it? Well, we really want to see another double bottom forming. We want to see the prices revisiting the lows that were formed on Monday. I think the chances are that we will see. If we don't see, that is fine as well. Because remember, our first initial position was to have that small position in so that our psychological point of view and satisfaction sits in. Although our dry powder, a lot of dry powder is ready to go if prices fall. So we are prepared for both situations. Now let's move on to Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin prices are incredibly exciting. So with respect to what happened last night, obviously prices broke the level of 63,000, which was incredibly low price for Bitcoin. Now, obviously, after this one, you are going into late 50s, i.e. 58,000, which is the level where on the weekly time frame, the 200 SMA is sitting. And that is a very, very important price level because price generally doesn't break that one level that easily. But it has happened many times in the history, so we cannot say that it will not happen. So the more important thing for you to note really is that if it breaks below the 200 SMA, how many times when it broke below that level, it fell and by how much? So historically speaking, in January 2022, it happened 2 times. And one time the drop was by 10%, the other time the drop was nearly 300%, okay? Oh, sorry, not 300%, 30%, 300% would be huge. No, never happened, no. Okay, so, and at that level, I mean, we are already down more than 50% from its high. The maximum we are looking at is around 48 to 45,000 and perhaps 37,000. Because at a level of a 37,000, Bitcoin prices would be down more than 77% from their all-time high. So last night was a good opportunity for many traders to buy it around that 64 mark. I mean, even currently we are only trading at 68,000, so not much of a move. But the price did go near that 200-week on the weekly chart near the 200-day SMA, which is the simple moving average, which generally represents an opportunity to buy. So that is the overall wrap up, what has happened in the market. Again, for disclaimer purposes, guys, nothing is an advice in this video. This is purely for education purposes. In the next video, we will talk about some really important price levels. We will talk about what MicroStrategy's CEO said about Bitcoin that has brought this rally back, the confidence that we have seen that. And on top of that, who are the other players who are pushing the prices, i.e. they are buying it very quietly while everyone else is very much worried. Now, lastly and finally, just want to touch on XRP. On the weekly chart, XRP's RSI, which is a relative strength index, an indicator, a lagging indicator, not a perfect indicator by any far, has shown extreme sell-off signs. Extreme sell-off signs. Like last night around 10 o'clock, it was showing extreme sell-off signs. And the price was trading in around 1.14. So today, obviously, the prices have bounced back up sharply, but so now it is trading at 1.32. Now, will the price move lower? Well, that all depends on Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin takes another leg lower, we are definitely going to break below that 112, because the current price action in the XRP seems like a very much of a fake pump. Do let me know what your thoughts are, if it is a real or if it is fake to you guys. That is all, and see you guys next time.